If you're looking for some easy, cozy recipes that will feed your soul, keep watching. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.
First up, I'm making a simple sausage and tortellini soup, and this starts by dicing up an onion and some garlic. Next, I drizzled some olive oil into my Dutch oven and added a pound of really tasty, mild Italian sausage. While the sausage was browning, I added in the onions, and once they had softened, I added the garlic. Next, I added an entire 32-ounce box of chicken bone broth. You don't have to use bone broth, you could just use regular chicken broth, but this has great health benefits to it. Also, you might like this soup recipe because it's not creamy, it's just broth-based, and not everybody likes a really thick, rich, creamy soup. For flavor, I added in 2 teaspoons of dried Italian seasonings and then a big 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. After stirring this all together, I allowed it to simmer for a while and checked it for seasoning, and then I added a little bit of salt and pepper. Next up is a bag of chopped spinach. It was frozen. You don't have to defrost it, just throw it right in. It only takes a couple minutes to heat through. And also a big bag of cheese tortellini. And again, these don't take long to cook, so once they sort of float to the top after a few minutes, the soup is ready to go. This soup is warm and cozy and super flavorful. I love putting sausage in my soup. I just think it adds a lot of great flavor. And you can top this with a little Parmesan cheese, serve it with some crusty bread, and you are good to go. Next up is this dish that my mother-in-law makes, and she said she had it growing up as a little girl, and then she made it for all her kids, maybe if they were feeling under the weather or just wanted something extra cozy. This is a pastina, but it's not a soup. It's just these tiny little noodles. They're called acini di pepe, and then you mix them with eggs and milk and butter and salt. And this dish is like a warm hug. There's no other way to describe it. It is so cozy. You know, this video I called it food for the soul, and this is the recipe I was thinking of because it just warms you from the inside out. So you just boil the pasta until it's cooked through according to the package directions and then drain it. In the meantime, I beat together a few eggs. Now here you will see I did make a misstep. You should really add the milk first to start to cool down the pasta before you add the eggs, because my eggs did start to scramble ever so slightly, although it still tasted fantastic. But first you want to cover the pasta in milk and then add in your beaten eggs and stir it all together. I was doing this over very low heat. Eggs will be cooked through at 160 degrees Fahrenheit. So I did check this with my thermometer, but it really only took a couple of minutes to get to that temperature. So I didn't have any worries about the eggs being undercooked or raw. And then after that, I added several pats of butter and just stirred this together, adding a little milk as needed until it was super thick and creamy. Almost like a risotto, if you will, but much easier to make, much quicker. And the last thing you need to do is salt this. You could use some salted butter too, but I felt like it even needed some more salt. So salt to taste and then enjoy. Lastly is this incredible, I'm calling it shortcut shepherd's pie, because you do take a little help from the store here. I'm going to be honest, you're going to see how this looks before it bakes and think, that doesn't look very appetizing. But when you put all these flavors together, this casserole is so good. I'm visiting my parents right now, and I think we've had this 3 times since we've been here. for about a month. So it's so, so good. And it feeds a crowd and it makes great leftovers. So here's how you make it. We started with 2 pounds of ground beef that I browned and drained. Then you add in a couple of cans of tomato soup, and you could add a little water and or a little bit of the juices from your canned vegetables. We're not going to chop up anything fresh. We're just using a can of diced up carrots and a can of French cut green beans. And then you can stir that all together and season it with a little salt and pepper if you'd like. You top this whole casserole off with a container or two, however much you need, of pre-made mashed potatoes. These are the Bob Evans brand. They are so good. We get these a lot, and I enjoy making my own mashed potatoes, but these have great flavor, a really smooth consistency. As you can see here, you just spread them out as thickly as you'd like over top, and then put a generous layer of shredded sharp cheddar cheese on top of that. Now, I left a little corner open because one of my children didn't want cheese, but you can put it all over your casserole. Then this just bakes at 350 degrees for about a half hour until it's bubbly and the cheese is a little bit crusty and golden on top, and you can serve it up. This casserole is so easy to put together and it tastes amazing. In fact, all of my children eat this willingly. I'm not exaggerating. They love this. They're the ones who've been requesting that we make it over and over again. So I hope you give it a try and enjoy.
Thank you so much for cozying up with me here today, and I'll see you again soon.